Hi everybody, welcome back to the Knits and Makes podcast. This is not gonna be a regular episode. So my name is Libby. You can find me on Instagram as Libby Knits and Makes. This is gonna be kind of different than my normal podcast. I wanted to do a review of my Make 9 for 2020, which I'm kind of excited to go through. I did it last year, as everyone does at the end of 2019. It's really fun to go through and plan for the year and all of that. Like, the planning is really the fun part. So I did that, put together my Make 9. Oh, hi baby. Sorry, Lola's yelling at me. So I put one together. It's not actually on my Instagram account because I just started this Instagram account this September 2020. So all that to say, I'm gonna go through my Make 9. I'll show you what I did make. I'll show you what I didn't make. I'm kind of excited to talk about it because the plans I had, I think, were pretty reasonable. And I did a pretty good job. I don't know if anybody makes all of their Make 9. It's kind of just more fun to do the planning part, but anyways, let's dive in. Let's see if Lola will stay a little while, or if nope, she's gotta go. Okay, I'm gonna start off. I printed out so I can show you images of what I had planned to make, and then I can show you the real thing for the things I did make. So out of 9 things, 9 objects, I had a pretty good mix, I think, of some sewn items, some knit items, some accessories, and some garments. So out of 9 things that I had set out to make, there were 4 that I did not make. So let me show you what I did not make. So this was a sewing item. This is the Ogden Cami. If you are part of the sewing community or kind of dabble in that, you may have seen this pattern before. It's by True Bias, and it's a pretty popular pattern. I still love it. I'd still really like to make it, but I never purchased the pattern. So I think a lot of the time for me, it helps. I don't know, it's hard for me to set out to plan to make something if I don't already kind of have the supplies for it. So I also don't have a printer, and a lot of, like, when I buy a pattern online, hey baby, when I buy a pattern online, for sewing patterns especially, you have to print them out. You have to print them, tape them together, cut them out, so that you can make them, and I don't have like a working printer, so it's even more inconvenient for me to like purchase a sewing pattern if I'm not like hell-bent on actually completing the project. So this is still something that I would like to do. I really do like this garment, and it's something that I would definitely wear and like to have in my handmade wardrobe, but it's just not something that I did this year, which is fine. So the next thing that I did not finish is a pair of socks. So this is them. So these are the Lydia lace socks by Ivy and Autumn. I don't know that I have the pattern. I don't think I have the pattern, but I have the yarn. I actually have this exact sock set. So I was excited to knit these, but I didn't. They have a nice lace detail around the cuff. I think I would still like to knit them, but I'll talk more about why maybe I lost interest in them, because it's another pattern that uses the same detailing that I did also include on my Make 9, that I finished, and I don't know how I feel about it. So I'll tell you a little more about that. But anyways, I did not start or finish those socks. The next item was a accessory again. This is a shawl. It's really beautiful. This is the Gnorbu shawl by Camille Descoteaux. So my plan for this shawl actually, and I'm still not 100% sure if I will do it or not. I do own the pattern. I purchased the pattern, so I got that far. I do actually think I have the yarn for it too. So a thought that I had for this shawl was actually for it to be my wedding shawl. I had this idea that I would really like to knit myself a shawl to take photos on my wedding day. I was supposed to be married this past October 2020, but because of the pandemic, that did not happen. So I have the pattern, I have the yarn, actually, and the yarn that I bought is kind of special. So the yarn is from Berlin. Jared and I took a trip to Czech Republic and Germany 2 years ago, 2018 in the fall. And I purchased a sweater's quantity of yarn there. I didn't have a plan for that yarn actually when I purchased it. And it is a navy blue color, which is one of the colors, like one of our wedding colors. So and that's where he proposed to me. It wasn't in Berlin, it was in Prague, but it was on that trip. So I really thought that that would be special. So the yarn is from the trip where he proposed to me. It would be made for our wedding. I thought that would be kind of full circle and really nice. But I haven't done it because the pandemic kind of bummed me out and we didn't get married. So if we do get married like we're supposed to next year, maybe I'll knit it next year. So that's the story behind that one. It's kind of special, a little sad. I don't have any terrible feelings about it though. It's all okay. But that's mostly why I did not complete that project. And the last item that I did not do for my Make 9 is this sweater. So this is the Fern and Feather. This is a sweater by Jennifer Steingass. So I believe that this is a worsted weight sweater. I actually would really like to do this, and I do have the yarn for it. I went and bought the yarn, and I bought the yarn for the body and for the yoke, the contrast color. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to use the color that I bought for the contrast. So I bought like a dark gray for the body and then a lighter gray for the contrast color, which I thought would be nice, and I still do. But I actually have been thinking I might keep the dark body color and then maybe use one of my like hand spun yarns to do the contrast color. I think that might be kind of special. So I would still really like to do this sweater. I just haven't prioritized it really. And I don't know if I should say this out loud because then I might have to actually commit to it, but I was half thinking that I might actually do this as a gift for my sister. I'm like 100% sure that she doesn't watch these, so I don't think there's any worry there. She asked me, or she did express interest in me knitting a sweater for her this past fall. I did not knit her one for Christmas, but her birthday's in January. I don't know that I will have enough time, but also I might have enough time. Anyways, all that to say, that's a thought that I had. I think that might be really nice. And again, I do have the yarn and I have the pattern, so I think it would be a nice gift. And because I'm pretty sure it's either DK or worsted, it would knit up quickly, I think. So that's a thought that I had. Again, it is one that I would like to knit. I just didn't this year. So anyways, that is my pile of things that I did not do. There were 4 out of 9. So I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty average. But let me get into the things that I did do, which is kind of all over the place. So I think I'm actually going to start. I have 2 items that are whips. They're not done. So I'm not going to say that it doesn't count, because to me it counts. Maybe for if you're more hardcore than me about the Make 9, it doesn't count. To me it counts. They're on their way. I started them this year. That's pretty good. So I have 2 whips for my Make 9. And this one's kind of tricky. So this is a pair of socks. So they're super cute. These are the Wildflowers and Honeycomb socks. And I did talk about these in one of my earlier podcast episodes when I started. So I do actually have 1 finished sock. So this is in. Let me stick my hand in it so you can maybe see the eyelets. I haven't blocked it yet, but there are some like eyelets. And I hope they're showing up. They're really cute. So I did a few modifications to this sock. I actually knit the leg. I think it's, sorry, I'm just looking at the photo. So in the image you can see that the leg is actually quite a bit longer. So there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of eyelets on the leg, and I did not do that many. I did 2 rows, 2 rows of eyelets for the leg. I also did not knit the cuff 100% the way that they did on the pattern. So she did a twisted rib, a 3x1 twisted rib, and I did not do that. I did just a regular 3x1, which I don't know that I'm crazy about. I probably should have just done a 2x2 if I didn't know what I was doing, but it's fine. So it's just not like, it doesn't have as much stretch, which is okay because they're kind of ankle socks, so I think they're just going to be kind of like slip on and easy wear. And then the other modification that I made was the heel. So she did a honeycomb heel and I did an eye of partridge heel. So this is my heel. It is still a heel flap and gusset. You can see some of that texture there. But it's just not the same texture as the pattern. I know that kind of defeats the purpose because the title is Wildflowers and Honeycomb. So I believe that the eyelets are the wildflowers and the heel is the honeycomb, and I omitted the honeycomb part. So these are my wildflowers and partridge socks. I really like it. I really like how it came out. It actually fits really well, which I'm excited about. I haven't blocked it yet. So I finished 1 sock. I just need to weave in my ends. I have a little butterfly here. And I have started the second one. So I have, I think it's so hard to read where the eyelets are. I think I'm finished the eyelet section on the leg, and I'm pretty well at the point. I'm very close to being able to start the heel, which is exciting. Sorry, I have fluff on my face. I swear to God, it's from this shirt. So yeah, so those are my wildflowers and honeycombs. They are, I don't know, I'm proud of the progress that I made on these. I can probably finish them anytime. I just need to actually sit down and finish them because I really just have the heel and the foot to do. It's not going to take any time. But you know, there's so many other things that are drawing my attention. So that is one of my whips. And then here's my second one. She's sitting on the floor in front of me. on my pile of papers. So this is my second whip. You can see, hopefully. So this is the Rift Tea by Jacqueline Cieslak. Yeah. I'm really excited about this pattern. This was one that I really wanted to start, and I just put it off, I guess. And now I'm starting it really late, which is fine. So I actually started this a couple weeks ago, and I'll show you the progress that I have. So this is where I'm at. It's kind of weird to show because it's a bottom, so it's a bottom up construction, which I don't normally like, but I trust Jackie's pattern writing. She's a very proficient pattern writer. I have not knit any of her patterns, but just from general feedback that I've heard and from reading this one pattern, it looks very user-friendly. So I have to trust the process and trust that it will turn out. There are some designers that I don't trust. So that's why I don't normally like a bottom-up construction. So this can be a little bit weird to show, I think, but I'm gonna do my best. So it has a split hem. So you can see that the back is longer than the front, and there is a twisted rib detail on the side. So that runs up the side. And the hem at the front and the hem at the back are also twisted rib. And I've said before I don't like twisted rib, and that's why I didn't do the twisted rib in the Wildflowers and Honeycomb socks, but I don't know, I guess it's growing on me. I do like the detail. I hope that's showing up well. It does look really nice here, so maybe I'm coming around. Who's to say? So I've got a good chunk done. She provides a lot of like variations in the pattern, so there's a lot of options. So there are two neckline options. One is like a V and one is a scoop neck, and it's also designed to be reversible if you so choose. So you basically pick whichever neckline you want. If you want it to be completely reversible though, you should knit the back and the front hem the same length. If you don't want it to be reversible, then you knit the back, or you can knit the back hem longer, which is what I did. So my back hem is like, I think it's 3 inches, and then the front is like 1 3/4 of an inch long. So I like that. I think I like that detail, so I'm going with it. I'm just following the pattern as best, like as it is written. So I'm happy with how that's looking so far. I didn't bring the yarn ball or the yarn band to show you, but the yarn that I'm using is a Cascade Sport. Here it is. The color is really interesting. Like, it's a beautiful blue, but it has like darker and lighter tones to it, so the color changes in different lights, and it's really very nice. Really drawn to blues lately. So that's fun. So that's my progress on that. I don't think, I mean, today is, I don't think I said this, but today is December 29th, Tuesday. So I'm not going to finish this before the end of the year, but that's okay. I still think it counts for having started it. I'm really happy with how it's going, and I'm just on, like, I'm knitting the body around and around and around right now, so it's pretty mindless. Yeah, so if I'm in the mood for some easy knitting, I'll just work on that for a little bit. It is a tee, like the pattern is written for a t-shirt construction, but I think I have enough yarn, and if I do, I'm gonna knit the sleeves longer. There are instructions to knit full-length sleeves, so my intention is to do that if I have enough yardage, which I should. We'll see. So I'm excited to continue working on that. So what is that? That's 4 that I didn't do, 2 whips, so that's 6. So I have 3 projects that I did complete. So let me start with the one that I don't like. So, oh. This is Lydia 2.0, designed by Courtney Little, who is Ivy and Autumn on Instagram. So this is a tank. It's very beautiful. Here is mine. I finished it early in the year. Here it is. So there's a lot of details on this. There's like a twisted stitch in here, so it adds like this nice vertical stripe. And then at the hem is this beautiful lace. I don't know what's the best way to show you, but that's the lace section. It is pretty like see-through around there. It's really quite nice in pieces. Like each piece of it is really beautiful. So it has a high front neckline and then a low V back, which is really cute. It has nice like eyelets around this section, which is really pretty. I hate this thing. It was, I don't know if I was just like out of my comfort zone with knitting this lace. Like I've never knit lace like this before. Like this is, I'd say that's pretty intense. She has labeled the pattern as intermediate, which I think is fair. I think where, I don't even kind of know how to phrase this, but I think maybe where I went wrong from the get-go was the cast on. So this is like you cast its bottom up again. I think I learned a lot this year about what I do and don't like about knitting and like my style and what I want from a handmade garment. So this is, you cast it on at the bottom and this hem is rigid. Like I'm sorry, I keep pulling on it, but it's so rigid and the rest of the body has like so much stretch. So this is so stiff. And it doesn't really matter because it doesn't dig in on me, but it doesn't drape properly because of how stiff this cast on edge is. So I really don't like that. And that might have been me just not being comfortable with that cast on. So started off bad, and then I think I did very well. I'm gonna say that I did very well with the lace section. I'm very proud of how it looks. It looks how it's supposed to look. It is beautiful. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I just don't. I'm really, really unhappy with this. Sorry, I keep flipping it around. This like something about the arm opening, I don't like it's not flattering. This like armpit area just kind of like hangs out. It doesn't lay nicely on my body. And I've seen it on like quite a few people and it looks very beautiful on them. It just maybe isn't suited for me, which is fine. I would love to frog it because this is really nice yarn. It's like I think it's a linen cotton mix. There's quite a bit of linen in here, so it is really very nice, but I've woven in all my ends and blocked it, and there's a ton of lace, so I don't know how much of a nightmare it's going to be to unravel. So it's kind of just, it was at like the bottom of a drawer because I was so angry when I finished. I put so much work into it, and then when it was done I just hated it so much. And that's kind of like my worst nightmare with knitting, is like putting all that effort in and then really hating it, you know? So that's my Lydia 2. I wouldn't recommend this pattern for anybody, honestly. It is beautiful. Like, it does look really pretty, but even the way that the pattern was written, and I don't like to speak badly about pattern writers because I know a lot of work goes into it, but the pattern was written so confusingly. The thing is like 30 pages long, and I really feel like it should have been divided into 2, because she included instructions. There were written instructions for the lace section, and there was a chart instruction for the lace section, and it was all over the place. Like, I kept having to flip, like I'd be reading the pattern and I'd have to flip back like 10 pages to refer to the instructions and then flip forward for further instructions. It was so confusing. I mean, not so confusing that I couldn't knit it. Obviously, I finished it. I just have read so many better written patterns since then that I kind of never want to look at it again, which is a shame. I mean, again, it's beautiful. She just put a lot of work into it, but I did not enjoy it at all. I think I was so focused on the end product, like I wanted the end product, and then I was so unhappy with it that I was just really disappointed. So I think that kind of taught me, which is fine, it taught me a lesson in like picking patterns that aren't just trendy, because it was very trendy for a period of time and like everybody was knitting it. So that's why I wanted to knit it. So I think it taught me a bit of a lesson on choosing patterns that I want to knit, not just choosing patterns based on what's trendy right now. So referring back to the Lydia lace socks, after I finished that tank, I was really not interested in knitting those socks. I may give them a try because they're so much smaller, and the lace is beautiful. I was just so mad after I finished that tank that I really didn't want to think about it anymore. So that is that project. I hate to be so negative about it, but those are just my feelings, and it's over. And I did learn a lot about myself as a knitter while going through that. So I mean, it's not bad. Like, all lessons are valuable, so that's okay. Okay, so the next 2 items that I have to talk about, I'm actually very excited to share. So we'll move on completely from the negativity and get into some more exciting stuff. So let's do, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to do this. Okay, I think I'm going to show you another sewing project that I did that I'm very happy with. I don't know how exciting they're going to be to show you, but I'll do my best. So this is the item that I made. So these are the bob pants. Here comes Lola. These are the bob woven pant by Style Arc. So this is the pattern. For some more illustration, they included a sample of I think it's a linen swatch, so that it's like the fabric they recommend. So that's it there. It's like a dark gray. I like these pants. I like these pants a lot. I ordered, so I believe Style Arc is based in Australia. So I did mention briefly that I do not have a functioning printer. So you can either purchase the PDF from them and print it yourself, or you can purchase a printed pattern, which comes on, like, I don't know what size it is. I think it's A4. It's big paper, and it's continuous, so you don't have to tape anything and cut any, well, you do have to cut it out, but you don't have to tape anything together, which I was just like, let's do that. It took forever to come, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, it was coming from across, like, around the whole world, so that's not too shocking. So this is get that out of the way. So this is the pattern. It's like, it's big. That's how long it is, and then it folds out like a map. It includes, they have a chart for sizing. I did buy, I think, all the sizes. So you can buy like the smaller sizes, the mid-size, and the largest size, I think, and that's a little bit cheaper to do. But actually the two sizes that I wanted, one was in the smaller section and then one was in the larger section. So because I was nervous about how the sizing would be, I just bought them all. So I have highlighted on this little chart, the sizes are written here, and I was between, based on my measurements, a 10 and a 12. So I ended up cutting out the 10 because they're designed to be quite oversized. It has an elastic waist and then really exaggerated hips. I think you can see it's very balloony. The legs are really over dramatic, I guess. And anyways, so I figured that there would be enough room. So I tried the 10 to start. So instead of cutting out the pattern, because it comes with it shows you the whole pattern and then all the different sizes are there and you cut out your size. Instead of cutting it from the paper that I had, because I wasn't sure about my size, I traced it on tracing paper. So I grabbed a piece of the pattern that I had. So this is it on tracing paper. So these are the pockets. I wrote it down on here. So I wrote a line. This is the grain, so that you're following the grain. That's the pattern, the bob pants, and these are pockets cut to pairs. So I traced it, included all the markings that they included in the pattern. That's just the pocket. I have all the rest of the pieces. And I made a pair of pants. Let me grab them. So they're black, so I don't know how exciting these are going to be to share, but here they are. These are them. So they look pretty plain, I think. They also look really big, because they are. They have an elastic waist, so I did pretty narrow elastic waist, which is fine. They look good on. They have pockets, really deep pockets. I think I did a nice little detail around the pockets. There's a back stitch there. I think they look quite nice. So the leg is very balloony, and then it tapers in a little bit around the ankle. And mine, they don't go right to my foot. They cut off at my lower calf. So my ankle does show when I'm wearing these. They're very high-waisted. They come up to my natural waist, which is just above my belly button, which I love. I made these out of I think it was a Rami fabric, which is a natural fiber similar to linen. I don't know if it's a Rami linen blend. I don't think it's cotton. It's a woven fabric, but it feels almost like it's a little heavier than linen. And it's almost flannelly, it's nice. It's really nice fabric. I do really like it. I got it from a small store in Kingston that no longer exists, and I don't remember the name of it. So, but I bought a ton of this fabric, and I used up all of it. I'm really happy with these. I'm really happy with these. I learned a lot while sewing these. I don't own a serger, so my seams, I did let's see if I can show you. They're gonna look kind of janky because I did a zigzag stitch. So these are I don't know if it's gonna, These are my seams. I did a zigzag stitch to keep them from fraying. They still kind of fray anyways, but that's the nature of it, and it doesn't really matter because it's inside out. Nobody sees it but me. The only thing I would like to do and haven't done is add a tag. Right now there's like a hole in the back where like I added the elastic and I just haven't seamed that up. So that's how I tell what the back is the unfinished edge. So I need to do that at some point and add a tag, and then they'll be properly finished. But I wear these a lot. They're really comfy. They're kind of like linen sweatpants. I'm a big fan of them. I'm really happy, and I would make them again. I love that. I love this pattern. Along those lines, I use the same pattern to make a pair of shorts. So these are my shorts. Again, they're like just kind of big and black, but that's what I was going for. So I don't own any shorts like this. I was looking for something that was kind of dressy, like I could get away with wearing them to work because they're longer. So I wanted something that was high-waisted, kind of professional looking, but could also be casual, and longer in the leg because all shorts are so short, I guess. I struggle with that. I have long legs, so all shorts look like short shorts, and it's not cute. And I just want something that would be more comfortable than anything. But what I did different on this one was I made a taller band, like, so this band I did not do the elastic all the way around. I only did it in the back half. So this is the front band, and it's just flat. I folded it over so that it's nice and thick and supportive. So it keeps everything in, which is really comfortable, but it also looks very clean and professional. So very excited about that. And then in the back, I did do the elastic in the back, but because it's like the band is so much thicker than on the pants, it ended up looking kind of paper baggy, which I like actually. Like all of this extra fabric scrunched up, and it looks like they look like paper bag shorts in the back, which I like the way that looks. It's actually really cute. So that worked out really well. I did not have enough fabric left to do the pockets, which is okay. Like I really used up all of that fabric. So I used a contrasting fabric from my stash. This is just a cotton quilting fabric, but it's the pattern is like fairies and unicorns and magical mushroom houses. So they make me happy. So yeah, those are my fancy pockets. And you can like barely, like when the pockets are at your sides, like you can't really see that fabric. But I just think that's kind of fun. I kind of want to do fun pockets on everything I make now. Yeah, I did finished the bottom edge. That's about it. I'm really happy with these two. I would make these again. Sewing is a lot of work. Not that knitting isn't a lot of work. It's just a different type of a lot of work. I don't enjoy sewing really at all. The process is very tedious to me. Cutting, like the planning, the cutting, like the cutting is half of it, more than half of it. It takes forever to cut out your pattern. Then you just sew it all together. And then if you mess anything up, anyways, sewing is really a chore for me, but I really enjoy having sewn clothes. So it's one thing that I will continue to do because I just like the end product so much. So I guess that's one thing I would say, like, I am not a process sewer, I am a product sewer. So I don't care at all about the process of making things that are sewn, but I like having the end product. So I will continue to sew because I like what I make, but I really don't enjoy it at all. It's just so much work and it's a lot. It ends up being a big mess. And I just enjoy knitting so much more. So those are my finished bob pants and bob shorts. And my final item. So the final item for my Make 9 is this. This is a cozy classic raglan by Jessie May Martinson of Jessie May Designs. I've talked about this before. You know that. So it was my intention to make one this year, and I made 4. Which is, so, you know, in the grand scheme of things, the things that I made and the things that I didn't make for my Make 9, I did make this one pattern 4 times. So that's pretty good, I would say. Out of the 4 of them, I made 2 for myself, and then 2 I made for other people. This pattern it just makes a very wearable garment, and I will knit it again. It seemed like it's kind of funny to knit the same pattern over and over again, and I don't, like, there are patterns that I won't knit again, but this is a pattern, like, every time I knit it, I get more comfortable with it. I enjoy it every time I do it. It's very simple, so if you like a simple knit, I just love this pattern. I have nothing but good things to say about it. It's well written, easy to follow, there's enough, like, she suggests different things throughout it, so you can do, you know, a different cast on if you don't like the one that's in the pattern, all of that. So, and she walks you through modifications, like if you have a larger bust or a smaller bust or whatever, she has recommendations for making it fit you best. So, love this pattern. The 2 that I have are this one, which I love. Hold this pink sweater up to my pink sweater. Yeah, I don't know, it speaks for itself. 3/4 length sleeves, 1x1 cuff. The yarn, I have no idea what the yarn was. I think one of them, I held 2 together. One of them was this like kind of rainbowy pink color, and then one was just like a plain blush that's like kind of the same as this. I think the blush color was from Woolapike. I'm not sure how to say it. I don't really remember. And then the rainbow one I think was a Knit Picks that I got secondhand from somebody else that was doing a D-stash. So they're both fingering weight. I held them together so it makes kind of a DK worsted fabric. It's really nice. I love it. And then the second one that I made was this guy. You saw me on one of my earlier episodes talk about this. I do believe, yeah, it's also a 3/4 length sleeve. I used a ton of different yarns for this. I held them together. Again, there is a lichen and lace. I believe this is lichen and lace. Wildflowers. No. By the seashells by the seashore or something like that. This is gonna be very hard to do. Anyways, so that's this lighter color. I held it with a tan. I think it's just like a Regia in a beige color. This fades into, I think it was an Olani color, and then the bottom one was a mystery that I got in a sock yarn exchange or something. Secret Santa sock swap. That's what it was, from 2019. So those are my 2 cozy classic raglans, and you've seen me talk about the other 2 in my videos as well. I knit those for other people. which is exciting. So I actually have yarn. I have some black DK yarn that I might make another one with, because plain black knitted pullover would be really nice to wear. I think you can kind of maybe even see my, there aren't a lot of items here for showing, but at the beginning of 2020, I was very into blush pinks, very into the light tones. I think I'm leaning away from that. I love these colors. This is not part of my Make 9, but this is my no frills sweater, my no frills pullover. I busted it out just to see if I could sit through a video wearing it, because it does make me itchy because it has mohair. You can see the halo is pretty crazy on it. That's the mohair. It's been okay, but I think I've been doing this now and again, and that's because of this sweater. I still am not 100% on this guy. I think I like the fit more than I thought I did. It fits nicely. Sleeves are longer than I would normally make them. The body's longer than I would normally make it. Anyways, that's irrelevant to this video, but the beginning of the year I was very drawn to these light colors, and now I'm kind of getting into more of like these dark colors. That might also be a seasonal thing now that it's winter. Like, I want to knit with more wintry shades, where these are very spring, very light, very airy, but also I don't know that I like these colors. Not that I don't like them with my skin tone, I just am leaning towards some darker colors right now, and that's just personal taste. So reflecting on all of these, I think, like, I'm very happy with the progress that I made on my Make 9. I think this was my first ever Make 9, so I did learn a lot through the process of like reviewing as well, like things that I had purchased, patterns that I had purchased, yarn that I had set aside for those patterns, or fabric that I had set aside, patterns that I wanted to knit because they were popular but I didn't have any plans for. So I think I've learned a lot going through that process, and when I plan my 2021 Make 9, which I am gonna do, I think I'm gonna strategize a little differently. I have quite a few patterns in my Ravelry library that I want to make, so I think I need to review those, strategize about, you know, which of those are important to me. I do have yarn in my stash that I would like to use for some of those patterns, so I'm not going to include any whips. I don't think that I should. I don't really care that much about rules and following the rules, but those are rules that I think I'll set for myself. I'm not going to include any whips that I have in progress right now, but I will include things that I have purchased, because I think that makes more sense. I should use the yarn that I have, I should use the patterns that I have, and I bought both of those things for a reason. I mean, I want to make stuff with them. So I think that's a strategy that I'm going to use, and I'll see if I can get a good balance. I don't know that I'll include anything sewing for next year. I think I'll maybe stick to knitting, but I think I'll try to include a good variety of accessories, some shawls, now that I'm kind of getting into knitting shawls again. Maybe a couple hats, now that I've kind of gotten over my fear of hat knitting. A couple pairs of socks maybe, some sweaters, we'll see. We'll see. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see my post for my 2021 Make 9, because that will be coming soon. So I hope this wasn't too jumbled or all over the place, a little different than my normal podcasts, but I still wanted to go through it with you because there was a lot of thought put into it at the beginning of the year, and I did end up making a few things. So anyways, thank you for joining me, and we'll talk soon. Bye!